It says it says we're live. It says we have action. Hello and welcome to Monday, Manic Monday. How is everybody? How was your weekend? Missed you for a few days. So glad you're all here. If you have never been here or never caught one of my lives before, there is a link up above. It says StreamYard, and you may just have to give it permission so that I can see your profile picture if it is your very first time here. We're just going to pull this little ticker tape up here so you can see that, and we're going to talk about words and the power of words, and are they sometimes used to the best benefit? Are they sometimes used against people? All of those kinds of things. So we're just going to pull up the comments here so I can see. And if you want to comment, like I said up above, then your little profile picture will pop up on the screen, and I know who I am speaking with, just like how Patricia is here today. Hello, Patricia. Lovely to have you here. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, my friend. So we're going to talk about powerful words and eliminating some words out of our vocabulary, and why we need to do that, and why some words have more power over other words. So if this is your very first time here and you have never caught one of my lives before, I am streaming in 3 different places. I am streaming into my business page, I am streaming into my health page, and I am also streaming right directly into YouTube. So you may be able to catch me on any of those platforms that I have. So that is very cool that you can do all 3 at once. So that's fun stuff. So we need to really evaluate ourselves and the words that we use when we are talking to people, when we are talking to strangers. You may say something to a stranger that can set them off in a tizzy. You may say something to a stranger that can change the whole outlook of their day. You may say something to a family member and it can be taken totally the wrong way. And you may say something to somebody else and it may be a positive in their life. So we need to be intentional with the words that we use, and we need to be mindful of thinking before we speak, as my mother used to say to me. I think it's something we shall be conscious of. If you're always under the impression that every word you use is me, that is a word maybe we should eliminate. But before we go any further, my name is Heather Edmondson, as it says right there, and that is my website. You can check that out if you feel like it. And I do appreciate each and every one of you, like I said, for being here with me today. If you're coming in on the replay, do let me know where it is that you're coming in from. I appreciate every one of you as well. That way, it is always very cool to see the far reaches of the internet and how far this little video will go around. And hopefully you gain some takeaways that you can pass on to some others in your life. So swapping out me, we could swap it out for the word we, working together in a group, we. It doesn't serve somebody if you're always meing, and everything is about me. If you are in a conversation, let that other person speak and let you know what's going on, or let you know what's happening in their lives. Some people say that, Heather, you're a really good listener. You listen to my problems and you help me out with some suggestions of things that might help me in my life or on my journey or anything like that. So that is something that is very feather in my cap, you could say. The word can't, we all should think about how many times we say that to ourselves in a day. I can't do this. I won't do this. Won't is another one. No. How many times do we, when we're teaching a small child how to do things and what not to do and what not to touch, you say no, no, no. And that is one of the very first things in a child's vocabulary that they develop, is the word no, that they get rewarded when they do things that they're being praised for by their parents, and they get their finger slapped or get into trouble and hear the word no, or anything like that. So it shapes our whole world if we're using a certain vocabulary. And I'm not perfect. I use these words as well, and I need to be more mindful of how I use them and who and when and what I say about every kind of situation that's going on out there. Quit is another word that we need to get rid of, and maybe we should be saying yes, and I will, and I'm hoping to, and say you are fascinated instead of frustrated. How about thinking about the word success instead of being stuck in overwhelm? How about thinking about things with intention, and instead of being in that confused state of but, I don't know, and maybe ask more questions so that you can get out of that state of overwhelm. Journaling is a good way to write down some of the thoughts, or maybe swimming around in your head and getting them out on paper is a good way to actually visualize and realize some of the things that maybe you were saying over and over to yourself that is maybe just in your mind. But if you actually write it down, then you can crumple it up and throw it in the garbage or burn it or whatever, and get those bad thoughts or those bad ideas out of your mind by putting them down on paper and actually visualizing them. Have you ever said, I desire to do something? That is a good one. And instead of saying that you desire, maybe you're saying, I'm going to try. Well, if you're not going to, if you're going to say try, you're not committing to anything. You need to have that idea in your head that say, I will do this today. I'm not going to just try it. I will do my best, but at least you will do it. At least you will to try and get there. You will commit to actually doing the task instead of, pardon me, just trying the task. Those are some suggestions for you today. Don't put off today. Don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today. My dad used to say that all the time. Get those things out of the way, that the hard tasks, the things that you hate the most in your day or in your week or whatever. Get those out of the way first, and then you can go on to enjoy some more enjoyable activities or more exciting things to do. So have a reason, and then you will have a goal to work towards, or you will have a result from the action that you take. You got to go big and believe in yourself. You've got this, and I believe that you can do things and be successful as well. If you're thinking that it's just an age thing, how many people achieve all kinds of greatness at whatever age they are? How many times have you seen somebody that does something and you're just like, wow, how did they ever do that? And maybe that isn't the first time that they have done whatever it is. Maybe they've been practicing for quite some time before they have been able to master the art of whatever it is. So if you don't ever believe in yourself, and you don't put any belief in the thoughts, in the words that you say to yourself over and over, then you're already putting self-doubt into your mind before you even have tried the task. An example that I have shared with some of you before is with all of this lockdown stuff going on and people not being able to see each other necessarily in person. They're doing lots of virtual things, just like I am talking with you here right now, trying to get my mother to embrace that in her late 80s. She got rid of the computer when my dad passed away, and she has a friend that has a computer that's in the same condo as her. And I said, well, why don't you go over to Jean's place and we can have a virtual meal with you? And she's right away, oh, no, I wouldn't like that. I would never like that. You don't need to see my face. And I said, Mom, I could at least show you some pictures of your great grandbabies and some of the things that are happening if you were to participate in something like that. And she was like, no, I wouldn't like that. And I said, how do you know, Mom? You've never tried it before. How many times do we do that to ourselves? Oh, maybe I've never tried to swim before. Maybe I've never tried to water ski or snowboard or, I don't know, jump out of a plane. But if you've never tried it, how do you know how you're going to react to it? If you've never tried it, why are you already saying that you don't like it if you've never done it before? I mean, there's good and bad in some of those situations that you have to evaluate what is going to be a good choice and what is going to be a negative choice. But if you never ever try things and you always stay at this level, how are you ever going to get to this level? If you never ever go and step out of that comfort zone and try something different, if you always have that self-doubt in your mind, then it is always going to creep up on you. And yes, Patricia says fear. Fear is a lot of a huge thing that holds so many of us back. Like I said, I'm not perfect in life, and there's a lot of things that scare me. But hopefully I'm passing some of that knowledge and information on to you guys, and sharing my journey with you of some of the obstacles that I'm overcoming in my life, and that you get some takeaways from that. So everything relates back to the way that we think about ourselves, the way we act around other people. Maybe some of that stuff is coming from some of the values from our past, some of the things that have happened to us in our past that have shaped our knowledge of what life is supposed to be like. They say that most of your values are instilled in you before the age of 6. And then you try for the rest of your whole entire life, proving all of those values and beliefs that you have built up since, like I said, since you were 6 years old. And why is that? Why aren't we, like I said, going out of our comfort zone and trying different things and looking at things with a different set of eyes or different colored glass, taking those glasses off or those blinders off, and actually seeing things for maybe their true colors or for how they actually are. My husband and I were listening to a biography the other night about David Bowie, and I don't know how many of you are music fans or not, but do let me know in the comments. That would be cool if you guys know who David Bowie is. And it went through all of the musical different things that he tried in his life, and it was failure after failure after failure after failure until he had that one big hit and he moved on. But he didn't give up. He was thinking out of the box each and every way on every step of his life. He started wearing flamboyant outfits and coloring his hair and having piercings and makeup and outlandish shoes and all of these things that people were looking at him like, this guy's nuts. And some of them worked and some of them didn't until he found what did work for him. And then he became very successful. And now he's left this earth and not with us anymore. But it was a very interesting biography to see how many times this poor guy had stumbled, but he never gave up. He kept going and finding what was going to work for him. And he tried like operatic stuff, and he tried like all kinds of different things. And finally it hit, and finally it resonated with enough people that he became successful in his craft that he had honed in. So that's just one little thing. Alexander Graham Bell, I mean, would never have discovered the telephone or any of the inventions that he had if he wouldn't have tried to think outside the box and do all these different things. Who would have thought that we'd be drinking bottled water, you know? Back in the day, we used to drink out of the hose. All of these things. If these people would never have tried something different and tried to look at things in a different aspect or a different light, we wouldn't have half of the inventions that we have. Look at Steve Jobs. We wouldn't be having these conversations over the computer if we wouldn't have had Steve Jobs go and do and invent all of the stuff that he did with Apple. So Patricia said she'd like to watch that. Yes, I'll find where we watched it on, Patricia, and let you know, because it was very, very interesting. I didn't know half of that stuff that had happened to him way back in the late 60s and early 70s before he became very, very successful. It was very, very enjoyable to watch. And it just proves to you that if you have enough belief in yourself and you keep trying, even if you are from a dysfunctional home or a dysfunctional family, or you have a boyfriend that doesn't respect you and stuff, but if you still have that belief inside of you and you still strive to be the best person that you can be, it's amazing what kind of miracles will come out of that. So I just wanted to pass that along to you guys today, wishing you all the best of your week this week. I only have a couple more days of holidays, and then I'm back to my full-time gig being a nurse. It's been nice to have a few days off on a vacation here, and that's why I didn't go live for a couple days, because I was just resting and having a good break from everything. So have yourself a good day, and we will catch you guys all tomorrow on Heather Edmondson page. And take care, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks, Patricia. Thanks for everyone here live. Bye-bye for now.